Do you know, it's really interesting. It's been in the news a lot lately. The government are looking at qualifications for childcare practitioners. The government are looking at changing the framework in which we operate to. And I have to be really honest, as an owner of a childcare company, I find it incredibly frustrating. I've been operating a childcare company for 7 years now, and in those short 7 years, this is the 4th time that the government has changed the way that it's going to legislate for our sector. Well, the care that we give is a constant thing. When I set Kids Allowed up 7 years ago, it was all about the fact that I couldn't find childcare I was happy with for my own children. So what Kids Allowed does is a constant. We have a vision, a clear vision, and we know what it takes to deliver fantastic childcare. So in one respect, it doesn't affect it, but in another respect, it absolutely affects it. Because what we have to do as a childcare provider is be seen to comply with the legislation. And the frustration for us, having changed 4 times now in 7 years, is that this legislation seems now to be flavour of the month. How can a sector in 7 years have changed 4 times already? And it's flavour of the month, it's whatever government's in power at the time. And then obviously Ofsted have to monitor and judge our settings, all settings, on how well it implements these guidelines. And I feel actually 7 years in that I've hit a bit of a eureka moment with this. We are so focused on trying to please Ofsted and to get the holy grail of an outstanding Ofsted. And actually we have 3 outstanding settings at the moment, which is fabulous. But this holy grail of achieving an outstanding Ofsted is actually taking us away from what we're here to do, which is to look after the children. And I'm beginning to find myself saying, what would Ofsted like? And what I should be saying is, what is the best for the children? So I really do believe 7 years in that I need to reflect on that and think, does it really matter what Ofsted think? Now, I'm not being flippant when I say that, because I don't mean Ofsted don't matter. Of course Ofsted matter. They're there for a reason. They're there to keep our children safe. They're there to ensure that childcare providers meet a minimum standard. But we will of course meet that minimum standard. But I think we need to stop looking over our shoulder about this outstanding grade and actually realise that we set up Kids Allowed to be outstanding, and what we do is considered really highly by the sector, by our parents, by the colleagues that work here, by the specialists that come into our settings. And I just need to start recognising that that's more important than pleasing the master, so to speak, because actually they've changed their tune 4 times in 7 years. Why does it matter? Yes, I'll comply with Ofsted. Of course, I have to respect what they're doing, but I'm no longer going to be obsessed by this idea of having to regain or to gain a new outstanding Ofsted grade. And I actually think when I speak to other owners of nurseries, we're all obsessed by this idea, and we need to get a grip. We really do. Because actually, if we put Ofsted at the centre of everything we do, that's completely wrong. We need to get back to putting children at the centre of everything that we do. And I honestly believe in doing that, the quality will improve even further with what we do at Kids Allowed, because it will be that one single focus. Do you know, I agree in many respects that the grade that nurseries achieve is important, and we love to get outstanding Ofsteds, and I'm not saying that by changing our focus and stopping worrying about Ofsted will necessarily mean we won't get outstanding Ofsteds, but it might, because actually there's a lot of extra hoops that you jump through to get an outstanding Ofsted, and not always for the benefit of the children, just so that you can say or prove that you're doing something. So I think what it might mean, let's say heaven forbid that we don't, that parents are going to have to look that little bit harder and make decisions not just on what a report says. Because think about it, Ofsted come into a setting once every 3 years. They spend a small number of hours, most of it in an office, some of it in the setting looking at practice, but once every 3 years a judgment is passed that lasts for the remainder of the time. And actually, you know, either way, some nurseries get an outstanding that don't deserve it, some nurseries deserve it but don't get it on the day. And there's so much more than just this report. And interestingly, the Daycare Trust, in combination with Oxford University, have been looking at this very issue and saying, does it really matter? How should parents be selecting their childcare, and what measures can they rely on? And the absolute truth of it is that one single measure is not going to give a parent a good view of which is the right childcare for their children. They need to come into the setting, they need to meet the leader of that setting and talk to them. Are they a leader? Are they inspiring? Are they going to inspire a team to deliver amazing childcare? Do the children look happy? Are the children engaged? Do the team look happy? Are the team engaged with the children and not chatting to each other about what they've been doing at the weekend? Do they have surveys from the parents? What do the parents think? Do they do team surveys? What do the team think about working there? You know, can you speak to parents in reception and just stop somebody and say, hi, I'm thinking of sending my child here. Can you tell me what your experience is? I honestly believe parents just need to do much, much more than read a report off the internet to decide about their childcare provider. And they've really got to go with their gut instincts on these things. Well, obviously the new legislation is coming live fairly imminently, and we do need to respond to that. There are things we're going to have to change to comply with the new legislation, but my intention is to comply with the new legislation rather than do all the extra and above that we would need to do to be what would be considered outstanding in their eyes. And that's not because we're no longer outstanding. Anybody that ever chats to me about what we're doing here at Kids Aloud could be left in absolutely no doubt that we wake up every morning thinking, what can we do better today for the children? But that's the key thing. What can we do better today for the children? Ofsted matter, but they can no longer be the top of mind whenever we're thinking about what we're going to do about our practice. We shouldn't be sitting there in our management meetings with my centre managers who are as passionate as I am about the childcare we offer and be sitting there saying, will Ofsted like that? What will Ofsted think of this? It shouldn't be our mantra. Our mantra must go back to the whole reason that I set this company up. What will the children think of that? What will the parents think of that? Will that give the children a happy day? And of course it's much more than just being happy. There's the opportunity to learn, and there's the opportunity to learn amazing, exciting things while they're in our company and in our care. But back to children at the centre of everything that we do. And Ofsted will have its place in our business at Kids Aloud, of course it will. It has its place, but it should no longer be top of mind. And I think it's just me maturing as the owner of Kids Aloud and realising that instead of worrying about Ofsted, you know, Ofsted are there to keep children safe, to ensure that the people delivering childcare to the children in the UK are doing it in a way that's safe and good for the children. And I absolutely understand that and respect it. And we will comply with the fourth lot of legislation that's changed in the last 7 years. But it needs to be put in its place. And I get up every morning, and I know my managers and my team do the same, thinking, what can we do today to make the children happy? And that's got to become the mantra. And you know what? Not just at Kids Aloud. I honestly believe all the other owners that I speak to are the same. What will Ofsted think? What will Ofsted say? We want our outstanding Ofsted. And you know why? The absolute truth of it is, it's really good for business when you have an outstanding Ofsted. It looks good. But you know what's even better? When parents sing your praises, when children skip in and don't want to go home. And actually, that's what I'm focusing on from now on in.